everyone. I'm Marley of the blog Namely Marley. Thanks for joining me today for the 44th episode of the Chopped Podcast. This is the podcast designed for people just like you, bloggers who love food. So what are we doing here? Well, each week my hope is to share with you thoughts, stories, interviews, everything related to food blogging so that we can all learn together about what works with food blogging and maybe even a little bit about what doesn't. Last week I promised something a little different today, and here I am delivering on that promise because today there is no guest. That's right, it's just me chatting with you. But I do have a topic, and I know that everybody is so busy this time of year, and so that's why I thought I'm going to deliver something a little bit short and sweet and to the point, and it's focused on a topic that's near and dear to all of us, getting things done. One thing that I've learned at the conclusion of the first season of the Chopped Podcast is that we all have so much to do. Do you remember the days when blogging consisted of creating a recipe, shooting that recipe, and then posting it? And then maybe sometimes I think we would share it to Facebook and Twitter. And that was kind of it. Today there's Pinterest and Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope. There's SEO, ads, Google, analytics, list building. Every day can feel like such a challenge of things to learn, let alone execute on. If you looked at my daily journals, and this is just my morning notes that I write to myself, the theme would be, I have so much to do. It's crazy. I don't know how I can get all this stuff done today. I have felt constantly behind and overwhelmed. Sometimes so much so that I have seriously thought about just giving all this up. I've thought, I'm going to go back to the corporate world where at least I could come home and have my evenings to myself, right? I could go back to the days when I used to have hobbies and things that I enjoyed doing around my house, like, decorating things or making cookies without reciting a recipe in the back of my head or writing posts. Somehow I know I am not the only one who feels this way. We all feel this way from time to time, right? But I now have a solution because I start to realize when I slip into what I call this overwhelmed mindset, it's a sign I need to get back to my getting things done mindset. Because truth be told, my whining about how hard all this is really just giving in to capital R resistance. When it comes right down to it, I have so many ideas that I want to do. I have ebooks I'm working on, recipes I'm dreaming up, ideas for different ways to photograph or different ways of doing things that I'm really excited about. There are people I want to interview and so many more of you all that I want to meet. And here's the deal. I want to have it all. I dream big for sure. And sometimes I get a little scared of that big, hairy dream of mine. It's understandable. I think it's something that we all go through. That's the reason I hired the most awesome life coach on the planet, Jay Pryor. Seriously, he is the best life coach. And people who went to ChoppedCon got to hear him speak in person, and everyone there agreed Jay is amazing. In fact, he was recently a guest on the podcast Bean Boss, so I'm going to leave a link in the show notes page so you can take a listen and learn more about him yourself. But Jay is helping me get rid of what I call my brain clutter. And coincidentally, I'm actually getting rid of some physical clutter around my house as well, so that's kind of a side benefit that I like. So what are the benefits of getting rid of brain clutter? I am making room for all the amazing things I want to do with my blog, my life, and everything in between. Exciting. So I wanted to share with you my thoughts on this getting things done mindset that I've cultivated over the last few years. It rolls out into 4 simple steps. 1, remember you are a physical being. Ask yourself, how will you feed your body so you will have the energy you need to get things done today? Think of yourself as an athlete training for a big competition. Can you imagine an athlete eating ho-hos before a big race? No, because athletes eat the way they need to eat to give themselves the energy to finish that race. So I just feel like, we can look at ourselves the same way. And I'm not going to go into anything about diet. I just think you need to imagine your day and give yourself permission to eat a diet that helps you feel your best today. Also, how will you train your body to have the stamina you need to get things done today? Sitting at your desk all day is not strength inducing. So I have actually a stair stepper that I have in my office, and I'll take a break and take a few steps throughout the day. I also have a bouncy ball chair, and I switch to that oftentimes when I just need a little bounce a little bit to give myself some energy. I also have a standing desk that I move back and forth to throughout the day. I find that I can't stand all day. I don't really get a lot of energy from that, but I don't like sitting all day either. So I try to switch back and forth between those two. Also, one of my favorite tips is if you have a conference call, let them know that you're doing a walking meeting. I put my earbuds in and then I take a walk and talk to the person that I'm talking with. It works perfectly. It's a great tip to get out and about, or even just go take a walk and don't talk to anybody. That's fine too. But make sure that you're actually moving around throughout the day. I find music to be really uplifting. Pick music that motivates you and keeps you inspired. Just mix things up throughout the day so that your body doesn't get bored sitting in the same spot all day long. Also, work out. Studies show it's no surprise that if you work out every day, you're going to feel more focused, you can feel more energized. All those things are really important to the body of a blogger. And then finally, stay relaxed. You guys know I love my tennis analogies, right? So I think it's really, really important that in tennis, the coaches oftentimes will tell the players to be relaxed. And the interesting thing is, you can't imagine a tennis player out there actually, like so over relaxed that they can't even play. They got to be able to hold the racket. So you got to find a place where you are engaged, but also relaxed. And that's what helps you be your best. Okay, tip number 2, remember, you are a spiritual being. So be mindful, meditate, find ways to tap into your inner being. And one of my favorite ways to meditate is through the app called Headspace. They have this free program that gives you 10 free 10-minute meditations. And I love them. I realize that that probably makes me a beginner in the meditation world, but I don't care. 10 minutes is usually perfect for me. I start my day out that way. I try not to do anything before I get started. It's very tempting for me to want to check my emails and check, my apps or whatever. I actually have started not allowing myself to do any of that stuff before I've done my meditation in the morning, because I want to keep my mind space free of clutter and free of any negativity that could come in. So that just really helps me a lot. Be mindful, meditate. And then why not let your work be a spiritual endeavor? I spoke with Kathy Yardley last year. She's the author of the book, Write Every Day. And Kathy suggested creating rituals to help your subconscious self understand transitions. So when you're getting ready to begin work, why not light a candle to signal to your subconscious self, now is the time to be creative? Pick a candle with the aroma that really resonates with you or that is known to help with productivity. My favorite is a little peppermint candle that I keep at my desk, and it really does help me feel invigorated and ready to go. Another thing that helps your spiritual self understand that the work you're doing is a spiritual endeavor is to know your why. Synthesize what you're doing into a brief statement and have it nearby so your spiritual self wants to connect with that, and it will help guide you as a result. Also, stay relaxed. Obviously, this is a theme. Deep breathing throughout the day can really be helpful. Here's one of my favorite methods for staying relaxed throughout my day. I'll take these mini breaks where I will breathe into the count of 3, hold it to the count of 3, breathe out to the count of 3, and hold that for the count of 3. And then repeat that 3 times. Just try that now. Hit pause and do that. And don't you feel so much more relaxed? It's a great way to stay in touch because honestly, you're making some important decisions throughout the day and you've got to stay relaxed to make the best decisions. Okay, step number 3, you are an emotional being. I heard recently that sadness is rage turned inward. It was really interesting because I was having a day where I felt really sad, and then, I don't know, it caused me to think about that. I actually asked myself the question, why am I angry? I didn't really think of myself as being angry because I was sad, but then I asked myself again, what am I angry about? Then finally, I ask myself, what can I be angry about? Make something up to be angry about, and then go find a healthy outlet for that rage. It's times like this when I wish I had a punching bag set up in the basement, but it doesn't matter. Any kind of workout can help here. Go for a jog, or, go for a walk, or sometimes just giving voice to that anger helps. I have a journal, like I said earlier, so I could go write down in my journal, what am I feeling angry about? Or try to examine that and just understand the emotions that you're feeling. It makes a big difference just to be mindful and aware of it. Speaking of emotions, why not take opportunities to feel joyful? Find something to be joyful about today. I mean, this is the season of joy anyway, so why not, make that, personify that into your being? I mean, get the kind of joy that's that tingling in your toes feeling, Get up early, put on some great music, and dance with yourself and feel utterly joyful. You'll be surprised what this can do for your day. Okay, take a power pee. Kara and I talked about this in the last episode. I wish I could remember where I first heard about this, but it doesn't matter. It's whoever came up with it. It's a brilliant idea. You have to go to the bathroom so many times a day. Why not take that as an opportunity to do what I'm referring to as a power pee? Emotions can be like a powerful undercurrent. You don't see them, but they are guiding you throughout your day. So if you can take time to regularly check into that current to understand what's going on, it can really help a lot. And since you have to go to the bathroom so many times a day anyway, why not use that as that opportunity to check in? Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Am I upset? Am I happy? Am I energetic? And then do the deep breathing exercise I just mentioned a few minutes ago. It works wonders, and it takes only just a few moments out of your day. So that's my final tip on being an emotional being. Fourth and finally, you are a bossy being. That's right. You are the bossy pants of your blogging career. So why not act like it? I mean, how many times do we get in this mindset where we feel overwhelmed with everything that we start to feel kind of powerless, right? So if you've had too many mopey days, it might be a sign you're needing a bossy pants day. Or you can integrate these into your everyday business life if you'd like to. So here they are. Prioritize. Figure out what is the most important thing on your to-do list. And there's a big distinction between what's urgent and what's important, because sometimes things that are labeled as urgent really are not that important, but they distract you from the things that are really important. So I really think it's a good idea to kind of take a look through your to-do list and say, what's important, and tackle those things first. Also, delegate. I think it's so common amongst food bloggers to want to do everything ourselves. I totally get that. I am totally like that myself. However, the more things that we can take off our to-do list and delegate to others can be very helpful. The one example I can give is Sean and I now do the photography for Namely Marley together, and that has helped me tremendously. First of all, it gives me like another set of eyes to, creatively look at things with, or how can we shoot this recipe? We kind of talk things through sometimes. Also, Sean is just, he's a photographer and he's a whiz at it. He's also just really great at Photoshop. He's a graphic designer, so he's got a really good eye for those things. So just finding people you can work on together with can be really helpful. Also, over the summer, I actually hired my daughter to help with some of the social media stuff. And even just having another person to collaborate with is just really a wonderful exercise to have. So I'm just saying, think of people that you can delegate. Think of the things that you maybe abhor and you hate, and find ways to delegate those things. And obviously start off small and build your way up to it. It takes some skills to really learn how to delegate well. Okay, put on a power suit. Okay, so you don't have to actually wear a suit, but get dressed in a way that makes you feel good and bossy. Listen to Tessa in episode 1, where she talks about how she puts on red lipstick on the days that she needs an extra dose of bossiness, or when she's doing a specific negotiation that she feels a little kind of worried about. So find what it is that can make you feel powerful and do that. Also, make friends with time. Have you heard yourself say, I'm so busy, I have so much to do today, there's not enough time, or there's never enough time, or I can't get this all done today? Be careful with your words because they become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Why not experiment by changing that language around this topic? Maybe say something like, I have enough time to get what I need to get done today. It's such a great mantra and it's really helped me a lot. Okay, stay focused. And the way to do that is to get rid of distractions. Seriously, I turned off notifications for most of my apps because in order for me to get the important work done that I need to get done today, I need to ignore that red number on my mail icon because it distracts me. It makes me, oh, someone's emailed me. I wonder what that is all about. I can't seem to ignore that. So I just turned off the notifications. It's like you turn off the notifications so you can stay focused on what's important. What other distractions, know what they are, understand what they are, and try to find ways around them so that you can stay focused. Become the queen of saying no. This is actually a Marie Forleo video, and I just love it. It's hilarious. I'm going to leave a link in the show notes page. It has some language in it, so if that offends you, then you might want to skip this. But become the queen of saying no so that, you can't say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. And just understand what matters to you and say no to everything else. Also, create some computer-free workspace. I personally feel like the computer is a creativity killer. So I've created some workspace. When I get a really great idea that I just want to spend some time on, it used to be my first inclination to run to the computer and type it all up. But I find that that doesn't really help me stay creative with it. So I get pen and paper, and sometimes I use colored pencils or colored pens and get kind of fun with it. And I draw it out, I mind map it, I do all these kinds of fun things to really pull out the creativity in the project. And then when I feel like it's formed enough, then I'll take it to the computer and actually type it out. That's how I feel like my creativity can really soar, and I love that. Okay, so that's 4 steps on the getting things done mindset. 1, you are a physical being. 2, you are a spiritual being. 3, you are an emotional being. And 4, you are a bossy being. So I put all those on the show notes page. I've also kind of created this fun, handy guide that has a lot of really cool quotes related to each of these 4 topics that I'm sharing with you on that page as well. But here's one of my favorites. Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe. And that's by Oprah. Big surprise, right? So guess what? Now it's your turn. What are your favorite tips for getting things done? Leave a comment on ChopTicon.com, episode 44, or send me a shout out on Twitter, or take a picture of yourself getting things done and send it to me on Instagram. How fun would that be? Either way, I would love to hear from you and share your tips with everybody else on how you like to get things done. Well, that's it for today's podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. I had such a great time, and I can't wait to talk with you again next week. If you were busy running around and couldn't jot down something important, don't worry. We took the notes for you. Just head on over to ChopTicon.com where I put up links for each show, including the stuff we talked about today. I hope you're loving the Chop Podcast. If so, it would mean the world to me if you'd head over to iTunes or Stitcher and give it a review. You can do that right now. Also, you can spread the word about the Chop Podcast using @ChoppedCon on Twitter or Instagram. You inspire me, so I hope today's show was helpful and inspirational to you as well. Thanks for listening and have a great week.